quick summary, I've been doing these playoff predictions for each round, and everyone is documented on my YouTube page. So in the first round, I had pretty much most of it all correct, except for 2 series. This round that just passed, I had Denver in 7. They obviously lost in 7. I had Knicks in 6. They lost in 7. I had Celtics in either 5 or 6. They won the series in 5. And I had Dallas in 7, and they ended up actually winning in 6. So this was kind of like a split 50-50 one. Now for my conference finals predictions, and I'll give a quick little breakdown for each one of them. Let's start with the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Dallas Mavericks. So in the regular season, the Mavericks faced the Timberwolves 4 times, and they lost 3 out of 4, which on the surface level may be concerning, but 2 reasons why. Number one, I think the playoffs is a totally different animal because I've always said in my previous videos, you got time to scout and actually prepare for the team. You're not in the middle of a regular season where you're going from one city to another off of a back-to-back. You got at least 4 games to lock in on one opponent. And the most important one, the second point, is that all of these games happened before the Dallas Mavericks traded and got PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. I really like the Gafford addition, another big man that they could put beside Lively. But I'll be honest, initially when they traded and got PJ Washington, I was a bit skeptical only because of how much I like Grant Williams. I thought he was a really great defender, proved how valuable he could be on the Boston Celtics, could shoot the 3-pointers. Just in terms of consistency, I liked him more than PJ. So I was a little bit, wondering how that was going to go, but it worked out. Especially in moments when Kyrie may be struggling a little bit or Luka's tired. He's proven to be more of a reliable scorer, more likely to get you 20 points in comparison to a Grant Williams who's really there for spot shooting and playing his role. But let's get into more specifics about this series. When I watch the Dallas Mavericks, a lot of times teams are so concerned with Luka and Kyrie, obviously, that they're just blitzing them as soon as they come off the screen. And then what ends up happening is Gafford or Lively is open for an easy dunk or an alley-oop, which is making me think, okay, you're facing the Minnesota Timberwolves now. They got a Jaden McDaniel, and Anthony Edwards. They're both really good perimeter defenders. They may not have to just blitz and send 2 guys all at once. Those guys individually may be able to stay with a Kyrie and Luka. And even so, even if they do blitz and send multiple defenders, you got a Rudy Gobert there, right? Defensive player of the year. He should be able to protect the rim. Karl Anthony Towns, decent defender. So that is what I'm looking out for. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. On the flip side, if we're looking at the defensive things that Dallas Mavericks could do, I'm assuming Derrick Jones is going to be the one guarding Anthony Edwards. He's been, from what I see, the best defender or drawing the assignment to guard the best players on opposing teams for the Mavericks. Then Karl Anthony Towns, Lively will probably get him. Gafford. That'll be another key matchup since Karl Anthony Towns is a big man that plays out more on the perimeter. If I had to guess, they probably give it to Gafford. I believe he's a little bit more mobile in comparison to Lively, who looks more of a rim protector, shot blocker. One more thing about the Dallas Mavericks defense. In the regular season, they were ranked 20th for defense. In the postseason this year, they are a top 5 team. That's something to keep in mind. With all that being said, I'm going to say Minnesota Timberwolves in 6. I want to say 7, but I'll say 6. And when I saw them come back down from 20 points in Game 7 against the defending NBA champions and 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic, I just look at the odds and what they got going, and I like it better than the Mavericks.
You gotta take your hat off to the Indiana Pacers. I still personally think they're an 82-game team.
Celtics versus Pacers. I'm going to do what Draymond Green just suggested that we need to do, and I'm going to tip my hat off to the Pacers. I had them losing against the Bucks. I thought Damian Lillard would be enough with Chris Middleton. They had some injuries. Nonetheless, they proved me wrong, moved on. Then I had Knicks beating Pacers. They once again got past. I'm going to assume this is where it stops, though, because I got the Celtics. I'll just say that right away. But let's get into a little bit of details in regards to the Indiana Pacers. And I'm judging them off of what I look at when I'm trying to decide, is this a championship team? Pascal Siakam, great addition. I look at him as a second scoring option. What he did with the Toronto Raptors in 2019 was incredible. But you try to build your team around him as the number 1 scoring option and say, here's the ball, take us there and get us a championship. I don't see that. He's a complementary piece, in my opinion, to somebody else who's a superstar. which goes to my next point with Tyrese Halliburton. 20 and 10. The stats look good. When I watch him play, he looks more of a pass first point guard to me. Somebody who, yes, he could score, but his initial innate nature is to find guys, hit them in open spots, and run the offense. As we know, the Indiana Pacers offense is really great. So not to dismiss their whole team, this is a series where I see them missing a Benedict Mathurin a lot. They're going up against the Celtics defense where everyone literally plays defense. 1 through 5, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Al Horford. Each one is very capable of holding their guard, whoever it is that they got in front of them. Benedict Mathurin would have been an incredible asset to aid you in scoring. Don't be surprised if the Pacers struggle offensively at times in this series. I know the Pacers fans, that may sound insane. And going back to Pascal Siakam, I also think himself at times, he struggles against athletic wing defenders, 6'8", 6'9" guys who are known to get low in their stance, shuffle their feet, have a long wingspan, and can really lock down an opponent in front of them. If Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, I'm assuming either or, is guarding Siakam, look out for that. That's going to be a tough matchup for him, in my opinion. A key matchup, though, that will be interesting to watch just as a fan and fun to see. Miles Turner versus Al Horford. Two big men who could stretch the floor and play defense, block shots. That will be an interesting matchup. I'm kind of wondering who out of the two very similar styles will end up prevailing. I said Celtics would win this series. I'm going to say in 5. Salute for listening. Let me know what you think about my predictions. Make sure you check out the past ones. They're somewhere on my YouTube. You'll see a playoff prediction videos the plug made. And let me know what you overall are feeling. Peace.